Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the English Learning Podcast. I'm your host, Sarah.
And I'm your co-host, Bill. We're so glad you're here with us today.
And I'm your co-host, Bill. We're so glad you're here with us today. In this episode, we're talking about something that almost everyone has experienced: overthinking. You know, when your mind just keeps going in circles and you can't seem to stop thinking about the same thing over and over again.
Exactly. I have to admit, Sarah, I'm guilty of this. Last week, I spent half the night thinking about whether I should send a simple email. I kept rewriting it in my head, checking for mistakes, and wondering if the person would think it was too short, too long, too formal.
That's such a good example, and I think many of our listeners can relate, especially English learners. Sometimes people overthink before they speak, worrying about grammar, vocabulary, or pronunciation.
That's true. And today, we're going to help you understand why we overthink, how to recognize it, and, most importantly, how to stop it.
We'll also teach you some useful English phrases so you can talk about overthinking in your daily conversations.
So, if you've ever felt stuck inside your own thoughts, or you've hesitated to speak because you were thinking too much, stay with us. This episode is for you.
All right, let's get started. So, Bill, before we talk about how to stop overthinking, let's make sure our listeners understand what it actually means. How would you explain it in simple words?
Well, overthinking is when you think too much about something, so much that it actually makes you feel stressed or confused. Instead of helping you make a decision, your thinking just keeps going in circles.
Right. Thinking carefully is good, but overthinking is different. It's like, imagine you're hungry and you want to choose a restaurant. A normal thought is, I feel like eating pizza. Let's go to the pizza place. But overthinking sounds like, pizza sounds good, but maybe pasta is better. But pasta has more calories. Maybe sushi. But what if sushi is too expensive? What if I get hungry later? And it just keeps going.
Yes, and in the end, you're still sitting at home, hungry.
Exactly. Overthinking usually makes it harder to take action. It can be about small things like food or big things like career choices, relationships, or even speaking English.
Speaking of English, many learners overthink before speaking. They think, is my grammar correct? What if I say the wrong word? Will people understand me? Will they laugh? And because of this, they sometimes stay quiet instead of practicing.
That's a great point. And in English, there are some simple phrases you can use to talk about overthinking. For example, I can't stop thinking about it. It's stuck in my head. I'm overanalyzing everything.
Yeah, and you can even say, I'm thinking too much. That's the most direct way to explain it.
So, overthinking is when your thoughts become too much, and instead of helping you, they actually make you feel stuck.
And now that we know what it is, let's talk about why people overthink in the first place.
Okay, so we know what overthinking is, but why do people do it? Why can't we just make a decision and move on?
Well, one big reason is fear of making a mistake, fear of failing, or fear of what other people might think.
Yes, and fear is really powerful. For example, you might not speak in English because you're afraid you'll say something wrong, and people will judge you.
Exactly. Another reason is perfectionism, wanting everything to be perfect. Some people won't start a project or even send an email until it's 100% perfect. And that can lead to hours or even days of overthinking.
I can relate to that. Sometimes I've spent way too long preparing something because I wanted it to be flawless. But in reality, nothing is ever perfect.
Another cause is worrying about the future. People imagine all the possible bad things that could happen, and they try to plan for every single one.
That's true. And for some, it's about thinking too much about the past, replaying situations over and over in their heads. wondering what they could have done differently.
And you know what's interesting? For English learners, all of these reasons can happen at the same time. They worry about past mistakes, future mistakes, and they want every sentence to be perfect.
Right, and that combination can be exhausting. It's like your brain is always busy, but you're not moving forward.
Exactly. That's why it's important to understand what's causing your overthinking, because once you know the reason, you can work on fixing it.
And speaking of fixing it, before we get to solutions, let's first look at what overthinking does to us, the effects it has on our life. So, Bill, we've talked about what overthinking is and why we do it. But what actually happens when we overthink?
Well, the first thing is stress. When you keep thinking about something again and again, your mind doesn't get a break. That makes you feel tense and worried.
Yes, and another effect is difficulty making decisions. You keep asking yourself, should I do this or that? What if this happens? What if that happens? And in the end, you might not make any choice at all.
Exactly. It's like standing at a crossroads for hours because you can't pick a direction. And while you're standing there, time is passing and nothing is changing.
Another big effect is missed opportunities. Sometimes because we think too long, we miss a chance. For example, you want to talk to someone new, but you wait too long and the moment is gone.
That's a good one. Overthinking can also make you less confident. The more you doubt yourself, the more you start believing you're not capable, even if you actually are.
For English learners, this is especially important. If you keep replaying mistakes in your head, you might feel shy and stop practicing, and that slows down your learning. For English learners, this is especially important. If you keep replaying mistakes in your head, you might feel shy and stop practicing, and that slows down your learning.
Right. And we should also mention that overthinking can affect your sleep. Your brain stays busy when it should be resting, so you end up lying awake, staring at the ceiling.
That's so true. So to sum up, overthinking can make you stressed, indecisive, less confident, and even lose sleep. And the worst part? It keeps you stuck instead of helping you move forward.
Exactly. And the first step to fixing it is being able to recognize when it's happening.
All right, Bill, now that we know the effects, how can someone actually tell if they're overthinking?
One sign is when you can't make a decision, even a small one. If you've been thinking about the same choice for hours or days, that's a clue.
Yes. Another sign is when you replay situations in your head, thinking about what you should have said or what you could have done differently over and over.
Exactly. And sometimes you might notice you're asking what-if questions too much. What if I fail? What if they don't like me? What if something bad happens?
Another clue is losing sleep because your brain is still busy at night. If you're lying in bed but your thoughts are racing, that's a clear signal.
I've had that. I remember one night I couldn't sleep because I kept thinking about a presentation I had to give. I imagined every possible problem, even ones that were very unlikely.
Yes, we've all been there. So if you notice these signs, decision delays, replaying events, too many what-ifs, and sleepless nights, chances are you're overthinking.
And once you spot it, you can start taking steps to stop it. Speaking of which, that's what we're going to talk about next.
All right, this is the most important part, how to actually stop overthinking. We're going to share some strategies that are simple, practical, and easy to remember.
Yes, and we'll give examples so you can imagine using them in real life.
Tip 1. Focus on what you can control. Overthinking often happens because we worry about things we can't control, like the past or what other people think. Instead, put your energy into things you can change.
Right. For example, if you're nervous about speaking English, you can't control if someone will notice a small mistake. But you can control how much you practice and how clearly you speak.
Tip 2. Set a time limit for decisions. If you give yourself endless time to decide, you'll keep thinking forever. Set a timer, maybe 10 minutes for small decisions, 1 day for big ones.
I've done that with emails. I give myself 15 minutes to write and send it. After that, no more changes. It saves hours of thinking.
Tip 3. Write your thoughts down. Sometimes our brain keeps repeating the same ideas. Writing them down can help you see them clearly and decide what's important.
Yes, it's like taking the thoughts out of your head and putting them on paper. Then your brain can rest.
Tip 4. Use the 5-4-3-2-1 action method. When you catch yourself thinking too much, count down from 5 and take action immediately. It interrupts the cycle.
I've used this when I'm nervous to speak in meetings. I count down in my head 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then I just start talking before my brain can stop me.
Tip 5. Practice mindfulness or deep breathing. When you're overthinking, your mind is in the past or future. Mindfulness brings you back to the present.
Exactly. Even 1 minute of slow, deep breaths can calm your mind and help you think more clearly.
So, to recap, focus on what you can control, set time limits, write your thoughts down, use 5-4-3-2-1, and practice mindfulness.
And remember, you don't need to do all of these at once. Start with 1 or 2 that feel easiest for you.
The more you practice, the more you'll notice your mind becoming calmer and clearer.
And that's when you'll see real progress, not just in life, but in your English learning too.
Okay, now let's do a quick English practice session so you can talk about overthinking in real life.
We'll give you some useful phrases, and you can repeat them after us. Ready?
Phrase 1. I can't stop thinking about it.
Repeat after us. I can't stop thinking about it.
Phrase 2. It's stuck in my head.
Your turn. It's stuck in my head.
Phrase 3. I'm thinking too much.
Say it with us. I'm thinking too much.
Phrase 4. I need to stop overanalyzing.
Let's try together. I need to stop overanalyzing.
Now, let's do a short role play so you can hear these phrases in action.
Sure, I'll start. Hey, Sarah, are you ready to choose a restaurant?
I'm not sure. I keep thinking about the options.
You're thinking too much. Just pick one.
I know. I can't stop thinking about it. It's stuck in my head. See? You can use these phrases anytime you feel like your mind won't stop.
And the more you use them, the more natural your English will sound.
All right, before we finish, let's quickly recap what we talked about today.
First, we explained what overthinking is when your thoughts go in circles and stop you from taking action.
Then we talked about why people overthink fear, perfectionism, worrying about the future, and replaying the past.
We also looked at the effects of overthinking: stress, indecision, missed opportunities, less confidence, and even losing sleep.
And most importantly, we shared strategies to stop overthinking. Focus on what you can control. Set time limits for decisions. Write your thoughts down. Use 5-4-3-2-1 to take action. Practice mindfulness and deep breathing.
Remember, you don't have to change everything overnight. Just start with one small step. Maybe set a timer for your next decision or write your thoughts in a notebook.
And don't let overthinking stop you from speaking English. Making mistakes is part of the learning process, and the more you practice, the faster you'll improve.
Exactly. Progress comes from action, not from staying stuck in your head.
Thanks so much for listening to today's episode of the English Learning Podcast. We hope you found it helpful.
If you like this episode, please subscribe and share it with your friends who want to stop overthinking and improve their English.
And don't forget to leave a comment below telling us your biggest challenge with overthinking. We'd love to hear from you.
See you next time, and remember, take small steps and keep practicing.
Bye for now.